Hello and welcome back to Wildly Abandoned, the show where we all learn that the best way to beat up a giant worm is through friendship. I am DG Holstein, the voice of Frank and Orville in Heinous Investigations.
Heinous Investigations.
Heinous Investigations. I am about 6 chapters from finishing the Attack on Titan manga, so I am going through a lot right now.
I thought you were going to
With
say,
me
I
as
am
always.
6 years in.
What?
Oh my gosh.
With me as always, the
Oh,
creator,
geez.
writer, director, producer of Heinous Investigations, as well as the voice of Elliot, Cy, and Martin, is Jessica Castro.
Hi.
There you go.
Yeah, what's up? I am back again, and there may or may not be very loud TV in the background as I have a very frightened dog who needs to be distracted from fireworks. So apologies if you can hear that. But yeah, hi. I am here as always. Yes. Okay. This is me being bad at intros again. Okay. So also here is Naomi. Hey.
Hi, I'm Naomi. I voice Liza.
Yeah. And then Emily is here.
Oh,
I think
hello.
is this your first one?
This is
Oh my gosh, this is
Oh my
wildly
goodness.
abandoned round 1 for me because life has been chaos and it's
That is
less
true.
chaos now.
What, did something big
Hooray.
happen recently that
Oh.
happened? What?
You know, just like moving across country to one of the biggest cities in the US. It's fine. It's fine.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, I'm Emily, and I play various townspeople all over Hainsbury.
Who did they
Basically.
hear in this week's episode?
This week, I was Miss Kimball, the principal.
Yeah, and she's great. As good as an educator can be.
Seems nice. She's an
Oh,
administrator.
She cares about the kids, and that's what's important.
I had forgotten about that line, and I laughed so hard after I heard it. Like, she seems nice.
Yeah, she seems nice. Yeah. Yes. Okay, I have a fun fact about why that character's name is Kimball, but I will wait.
For our last two friends to introduce
Yes.
themselves.
Exactly.
Elena, you go.
Hi, I'm back after some time. I'm Elena, play Miriam. I think you probably know me from episode 1 where I asked a bunch of celebrities to date me.
Yeah, we sure do remember that.
I mean, the ones you named were all hot, so
Thankfully.
And then there's Twan.
Hi, I'm Twan. I do the voice of Algernon Graham and Clay Carter, and I also do a lot of the art stuff that you will sometimes see.
That is very true. Speaking
And
of
he
which,
fixed-
Twan, yeah,
he
would you
fixed
like
his
to
camera
plug
before I could
something?
make fun of him.
Yeah, I guess I'll
Yeah.
take this time.
Why
to
don't we do
plug.
plugs
I'm-
now? Because I'm also going to name all of our freaking social media and stuff, which I always forget to do.
That's
And
true.
I remembered. But anyway, why don't you plug
Hey.
your thing first?
I am open for art commissions. So if you guys want to get a character drawing of sorts commissioned, possibly one of my characters from Heinous Investigations, I am on Ko-fi. You can find me at that's ko-fi.com/TOANNGUYEN productions.
Okay, I also know while we're still doing all the plugs, I also know, Dio, I believe you had some new recent developments, I think, since the last time we met, that you might want to plug.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I recently joined this little streaming community called Lore, which is the League of. I didn't know I was gonna be plugging this. Something like that. And yeah, I'm doing the Guise of Untamed Beasts. It's a new D&D campaign that I'm doing over there with some other cool voice actors I've met through some online circles. It is every other Monday at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. I'm playing Azazel, who's a hobgoblin wizard. If you like my dulcet tones and you think that I'm sometimes funny, you can come check us out over there. It's twitch.tv/lore, I believe. Let me take a look. Something else was going on today. Yes, twitch.tv/lore live play.
Cool. Anybody else have anything to plug before I move on to all of our stuff? We're good? We're good for now. Okay. So then let's do our stuff. Instagram, as usual. Let's go. Instagram at Wildly_Productions, TikTok at Wildly_Productions, Tumblr at Wildly Productions, Twitter at Wildly Product One, Facebook at Wildly Productions. Our Redbubble shop for merch is Wildly Pros, and our YouTube channel is Wildly Productions. And I think it's time that we can finally discuss the episode. Episode 9. Here we
Big
are.
Rolling Expeditioners. That's what it is. Anyway,
What?
episode 9.
Wait, whoa,
League of
what?
Rolling Expeditioners.
Okay. I don't know. And I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to. Okay. So. Should I just start with the Mrs. Kimball thing that I mentioned before? It's literally 2 seconds.
Yeah, maybe we should
Last
start there.
reason that the principal's last name is Kimball is because that is the last name of Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in Kindergarten Cop, which is a great movie that I love.
Aw.
That's literally it.
See, I
That's
thought it was
fair.
going to be this story about how there was this principal I had in school.
No.
His name was Kimball, and I was
Nope, it's literally Arnold Schwarzenegger.
no.
I really regret now not putting like a Schwarzenegger accent on there. You're just
There's
a
a reason
really
I didn't
firm
say it.
principal.
what are you doing?
What are you
How are
doing?
you?
All right, everybody, back
to class.
inside.
Inside, get inside now.
Inside.
Do it! Get in the classroom! That is not Hercules.
Has
I am
any-
Hercules.
Please tell me someone has seen that movie besides me. Is it just me?
Kindergarten
not
Cop?
seen it in
Kindergarten
a
Cop,
very
Of
long
course.
time,
Okay.
but I
I
have.
thought that they made a
Tumblr.
quote unquote sequel to that movie.
Did they? Oh,
I
I, don't
watched
like
a
that.
YouTube
It's one of
video
those
about it.
sequels, the Drew Gooden video.
Yes.
Yeah, where it's like a sequel that's not quite a sequel because they just called it movie 2, but it's a completely different cast
Like
and
in
not
name
at all the same
only?
story and very,
Mm.
very different.
Mm,
Yeah.
no. Only one
Watch
that
Drew
matters
Gooden's
is
video about it. It's much more
It's a good
entertaining than the
video.
movie is.
Okay, so yeah, that's literally why I had to come up with a last name for this principal super quickly, and I was like, I started thinking, what are names of educators in movies that I like, and somehow, Kindergarten Cop fought its way to the front of my brain.
I need to remind myself that I can just do that with stories. Nobody's tracking and being like, "Oh,
So,
you're no longer
canonically-
about story."
This is like Schwarzenegger's wife in that universe, right?
Maybe that's
like
how,
it.
maybe that's where she ended up. Who knows?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Crossover.
I was
event.
just.
We've confirmed
I
that
honestly,
the two universes are the same universe.
It is-
We exist in the.
I love
Kindergarten
that.
Cop
I love
universe.
that idea. Honestly, I just was also like, Kimball is a common enough last name that it's fine. You
all
know,
sorts of-
there are
When you
people
were
with that
talking
last
about
name.
the origin, my first thought went to what's that movie with Dr. Richard Kimball?
Oh, that's The Fugitive.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, Harrison Ford. Yeah, I watched that in a class at school because clearly that's an important thing to learn. It was
You
for
switched the
forensic-
samples!
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
Episode 9.
yeah, that note aside.
We got some heavy information from some characters. We don't have David here, but like
Oh yeah.
we got to learn kind of a darker
yeah.
bit of Carlton's backstory.
That's so
like
true.
why he split with his criminal past. That was
Mhm.
pretty interesting.
Yeah. I mean, can we really call it a criminal past if he was a kid and he didn't 100% know what he was doing?
In this
Yeah.
country, yes.
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna say in America, yes, that is
That is
something.
fair. That is very fair.
If his D&D background would be criminal, then
Then
absolutely.
yes.
There we go. That's a less that I never mind.
Let's not get political. That's it for another podcast. That's not us.
That's not us.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I think in the previous episode, I wanted to make these backstories as outrageous as possible while still the slightest bit plausible. And I think I hit it pretty decently. I don't know. I really liked the idea that I guess because I just think of Oliver Twist now because I made the Oliver Twist reference in there because I feel like that's kind of what he got thrown into in a way, you know, like him and like all these young people like stealing stuff. I feel like it's the almost modern equivalent. And I was like, I don't know if this happens anywhere in real life, but I kind of would understand like the drama of it. I'm sure it does. I'm just sheltered as hell. Yeah, I think so I just kind of wanted something that I don't know, that was somehow outlandish, relatable, and like dramatic at the same time. I think it was a good balance. I know if David were here, he would say it a lot. He'd say some kind of weird, like beautiful, complex metaphor about it, and we'd all be like, "Wow!"
You know, you're right.
Yeah, but womp. Such is life.
But he's not. So deal, fill it.
Yeah.
What? I was spacing out.
Nah, it's all good. I think it's also, this is the time where we finally get the answer that we'd been stalling on, that of why he doesn't like guns, because he mentions like a few things earlier in the show as to kind of why he doesn't like them, like various smaller reasons, but then you find out the major reason is literally like father figure shot. And it's like, okay,
I like him after that.
To give a little glimpse into my tastes in fiction, I really like when a character has aversions to guns, because guns in like a more grounded setting, they kind of interact in the same way they interact with the story in the same way that like a soft magic system does, in the way that the rules are not there or not very well explained. Like, you know, everyone has the trope about like the action hero whose gun mysteriously never runs out of bullets until the exact minute that, gosh, it sure would be nice if he had like one more bullet left, and that kind of stuff. It's I don't know, guns are kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie. Guns are some of the most boring ways to have combat. Like if you're gonna have a gun heavy story, you got to have like tactics involved, you got to have emotion, you got to make it about the characters, not about the fighting, because
cool flips.
Because guns are so boring. Guns
they
are boring.
Now I also do,
so
I think I'm also in that camp where I feel like guns are somehow, in spite of the technological advances with guns, I still find them the crudest weapons.
So uncivilized.
Because I feel like there is some skill in using them, but not when you compare it to like some more like finesse weapons, you know.
You don't look as cool.
There's skill but not art is what I
that deserves the claps reserved for
Speaking
David.
of the deep thoughts there.
I think that definitely does hit the nail on the head. It's like, a lot of the time when somebody like picks up a gun, that this is just my personal perspective, for the professional uses of gun, there is to practice getting better at guns, or there is the need for like defending like people in such, you're just like shooting to hurt and harm basically in such a situation. So the art is kind of there kind of isn't really room for art in that scenario. Because
there's only so many
built to
things
be so do. It was built to be like the quickest way to hurt, quickest and easiest way to hurt somebody.
Not great. I mean, like, I understand how some people can like say that it looks cool, and I also think like the reason that I wanted guns used at some point,
but like what looks cooler, doing a flip while pointing a piece of metal at someone, or doing a flip while shooting a bow and arrow at someone?
Way cooler.
The best weapon.
Way cooler.
Yep.
I'm especially a big fan of dual wielding swords. I think those are freaking cool. Like the twin swords.
Trying so hard not
it's because it's so nerdy. It's so nerdy that it just circles back around to being kind of cool again.
The dual blades, like, gosh, that's so dumb. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
anyone who can say like a guy or a girl with two scimitars just going at it isn't awesome. I worry about their definition of awesome though.
Yeah.
Like,
I
It's
took
like
stage.
that scene.
I
It's
did.
it's like
wait.
that scene in X-Men Origins Wolverine when when Wade Wilson, Ryan Reynolds, proto Deadpool, comes
Oh,
out of the
God,
elevator and
no.
just
Oh.
swings his katanas around and deflects all of the bullets in the room. It's
I
like,
actually-
yeah,
I
all right,
took,
that's kind of sick.
What do you
Yep,
call it?
yep.
I took a class called Stage Combat in college and learned how to fake dual wield swords, which was fun. I learned how to fake sword fight. So if y'all ever want to know how to do it, I know a
I
bunch
know
of
how
that.
to real sword fight.
Do you really?
Yeah, no fakes here.
I
Oh, yeah, I
did
forgot there's
fencing for like a
fencing,
very,
right?
very short time in my life.
They
Kind
never
of
let us do
know, kind of.
fencing.
I own a sword, a short sword, and several daggers, but I don't necessarily know how to truly
I
fight
own
with
a
them.
big
I got a
sword.
I got a
Let me see
big
if I can
stick.
find. Do I have like
Hey,
anything
don't
on
talk
me
down
that
on
I
a
can
stick.
use
A stick
as,
is a
like,
very useful and versatile weapon.
true?
Bow staff has been my
yeah.
favorite for a long time.
I mean, I will say I didn't want to phase guns out of this entirely, but because I did want to show, as you know, at the end that there are some uses for it, like
Yeah.
to not harm people, but to use for like strategically for other
To
things.
deafen a worm.
Yeah, to deafen a worm or to shoot Frank's speaker.
Frank speaker. And cause not deafening.
Yes. So the only time I believe that I have that I have guns being used in this show are typically, at least thus far, I think it's usually only antagonists that truly use them with the intent to harm, like to seriously harm. And what do you call it? And I want to say bad people in quotes, but we haven't. I can't explain that fully because we haven't gotten
That's
there
true,
yet.
We haven't gotten there yet.
So we're just gonna leave that there. But yeah, no, I'm not. Again, there's so many cooler weapons out there. I think we're all like settled on that front. I'm so mad I can't show my cool little sword move now. Like, so I don't have anything to sword.
Would now be a good time to tangent because I have a question now.
Yeah.
What is everybody's most favorite like fictional weapon that they've like fictional or real weapon?
I was gonna say there's a lot of real weapons that are cool.
Can I say the one person arsenal?
Yes,
Good
that's
answer.
fair.
that is a great answer.
And for real though, I think my favorite is kind of circling back to the stick thing. I think I really like the the bow staff. I mean, not bow like bow and arrow, but like Donatello and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I really like that quite a bit.
My favorite weapons. There are these things called the fire and wind wheels, which they look kind of like chakrams. They're like just they're circular blades that have these little these points sticking out that kind of look like fire or the sun. They're typically used in like Chinese martial arts like Bagua Zen and Tai Chi Quan. Really, really cool. Just like some of the coolest looking weapons ever. It's got the same kind of like symmetry thing because you have one in both hands. I love them. I love them so much that in that big fictional story that I'm like kind of sort of working on is one of the characters has a pair of them because I love them so much.
Oh, you know what? I actually want to rescind. It's hard because I think that would be like bow staff would be like good for a blunt force weapon, but I completely forgot. Like we're talking like blades. I have to subdivide. We're talking blades. It's got to be the what is it? The kukuri knife. You know, the cool looking curved thing.
Oh yeah,
that
sick.
thing is freaking cool.
Right.
Love that thing.
I'm also a sucker for like essentially metal boxing gloves, like whatever Alex Louis Armstrong wears in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Absolutely, give me a pair of those.
That's
oh
true.
my
Those-
gosh,
those-
Knuckle weapons are
Armstrong.
so cool.
What a great anime.
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah. Anybody else? Weapons go.
I've got two answers. One for like aesthetics is like bow and arrow, as we said, very graceful, very like, you know, you can stay far away, range weapon. But in terms of like real life practicality, there's this like type of knife, I forget what it's called, But my best friend has one. And you like wear it on your finger like a ring, and it's just like this little blade, and you can just like punch someone.
Oh,
and,
It's the
that's
like,
cat.
right, I
It's the
remember
cat
these.
ears. That's what I.
It's
Yes.
like really. He said like if I were to
They're
give you a knife,
classy.
it would be this one because it's like the most practical for self-defense because they can't take it off of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the thing,
I
if
want
you're not
one.
very good at like fighting with a knife, if you come in with a knife, they're probably just gonna take it out of your
Yeah.
hand, and then they could use it on you. But like,
Oh yes.
the
Yeah,
knuckle knife,
I
like,
know
they
exactly
can't.
what you're. I've seen them before. I know exactly what you're talking about. It definitely looks like a cat when you like aren't wearing it. It's got like the little circle where you put it in your hands, and it's got like the little blades. So it reminds me of a cat.
Good.
Yes, love it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anyone else has a response. Did you say anything, Elena? Considering your character is
Considering your
the
character.
weapons person.
Well, I have two answers too. My favorite is also the bow and arrow, just because I've always really liked it, and I have like a wooden one right there.
Hey.
Oh,
But I guess
Nice.
katanas, like bladed fans in Mortal Kombat, have always been really cool. I feel like
yeah, that's
fight
true.
someone with a fan, that's ridiculous.
That
So.
is really cool. Mm-hmm.
Can I talk about another Mortal Kombat weapon?
Oh my
Because I love Mortal Kombat so much, dude. Dude, Kung Lao is always my main, and that razor hat is the coolest freaking thing.
You can
That's
slice
true.
someone like a wheel of cheese with that hat, so that is kinda
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I love Kung Lao's hat. I want a Kung Lao hat, but I feel like it's very impractical to wear.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Very fair. Yeah.
You gotta be careful every
it-
time you gotta take it
yeah.
off.
Emily,
It's
do you have one, or did you already say it and I'm spacing out?
No, I'm boring and I always love the bows, but scimitars.
Yeah.
Scimitars and
Yep.
like falchions and the slight
Yeah.
curve of them just is so pretty to
Yeah.
me.
Curvy
It's
curvy
so
blades
cool.
are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to more stuff about this episode. Trying to think what else is really fun in this. I mean, the whole worm fight I think is really fun, and how basically most of the fight is just everyone getting their like what do you call it, getting their butts kicked. Pretty much.
I died at Jimmy's getting hit scream. just immediately pictured it just flying off stage, right? I was like,
It is really I know that the thing that she came up with, Scream she came up with for that. I like the way that the audio clipped. It sounded really good if I lined it up exactly with the hit, which is what I did
yep.
before I sent it to like editing for final cuts and stuff. I was like, it needs to line up like this. There is no other way.
Yeah, I love the Ginny scream coupled with like the Orville ow. Because I imagine them doing the cartoon thing of flying off opposite sides of the screen, but like looking completely different. Like Orville is definitely just like cardboard, like
Yeah.
The flag just ragdolling in the wind.
Yes. Yeah. And Ginny's like probably like arms flailing.
love it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that bit. I also like how I also enjoy the Liza getting hit, followed shortly by Elliot asking if she's okay, then immediately also getting hit. That's also very enjoyable.
It's just always adorable in every single interaction. It's just I want a tiny plushie of him.
Oh, well, thanks. I'm taking credit. No, honestly,
You wrote
I mean,
and
you
play the
wrote
character.
and
You
played
are
him.
Elliot.
So
All credit
Anyone can
goes
take
Yeah.
credit.
No
It's kind
one
of
else
like
can take credit
and
for
you
it.
direct it, so it's like that's all 3 points. That yeah,
it is just
that
me
is-
at this point. I have
Yeah.
become him.
Yeah, I have become Elliot.
You're
There's
gonna
no
show up with just
escape.
like dyed blonde hair one day.
That's the one thing I will never do. I can't do anything to my hair. Like I can't put anything in it. But can I could like me. Can I stick this up? Me. Yeah, you know, for people who can't see this, I'm attempting to do the little anime
The little-
hair.
yeah, the hair part. Yeah.
Yeah, which is not ever going to work with this hair.
Hey, people on Patreon that can actually see this, I'm currently eating mac and cheese. So
Oh.
if you're just listening to this on YouTube, better get on Patreon if you want to see me eat
Mm.
mac and cheese.
It's a mukbang. Bonus mukbang.
No!
Wait, can we actually do
What do you
one,
mean?
though?
No, you did this.
I just wanted to eat some mac and cheese.
Well,
okay?
you're
I'm not-
mukbang into
Well,
it.
now it's a
Welcome.
mukbang.
It's not a mukbang is an obscene amount of food. This is just a
Yeah.
bowl of mac and cheese.
You're
Right
making me
now.
want the mukbang
I didn't want to eat it
character.
when
Yeah,
it
wait,
was
is it
cold.
mukbang or mukbang?
I don't know. I've always just said mukbang. But
I've heard both, and I don't know which is right.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm
Honestly,
afraid to
I
ask.
feel it's
Yeah.
always
Is it ever right?
as long as I feel like as long as the concept is being honored, that's the most important part. We should
That's true.
I say we should do that, but also I would die.
I would love
Yeah.
mukbang. You don't understand. I love eating and just I could put away so much food. It disgusts me really, but I would love to do this in character. So I'm ready.
I don't know. I
don't
feel
know if
like
can.
character
I might be getting to
mukbang.
that point though.
I don't know. I
just
think
don't.
I would have to
They're not
fast.
enjoyable to watch, so it wouldn't be enjoyable to do it.
I don't know. It's just like
That you
something about
know
eating
of.
50 pots of mac and cheese.
I
sounds
do
really
enjoy watching the Nathan's hot dog eating contest every year, and this year's was a doozy, but still,
It's a wild ride.
it's my parents don't understand why I like it, but I'm like, it's like there's so much unnecessary hype about it. It's the best thing ever.
They
There's
gobble
so
those
much-
wieners so violently.
Uh-huh.
That was
Yeah.
on purpose.
Yeah.
You know it.
What?
Yeah.
No, I've never said anything.
You
sexual
know
in
that
my life.
you know that I no longer have any power to
What were
do
you gonna
anything
follow
because
that
the
up with?
horny
Like, were you
jail
gonna
has been
say,
destroyed.
They
It's
soak
being
those buns
repurposed
too.
into a
Like,
Dunkin'
They do
Donuts.
soak them buns. They make
They
it
do.
slide down their gullet easier. Make them gobble those dogs real good. I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute myself and take another
This is
bite
what
of mac
you've
and
done,
cheese.
Dunkin' Donuts.
What
This is
does the
what you
NSFW tag have to be applied?
Okay,
Great
so
question.
circling back again as we do. I'm trying to think there's any other particular episode highlights for anyone. Like
Yeah, I mean,
honestly.
Carlton is the only character we learn any tragic backstory stuff about, right?
Yeah, everyone else. Well, no,
Everyone else was
actually,
covered in
no.
episode 8.
Orville and Ginny are
Right,
also
Orville and
covered
G-
in this one.
That's-
Yeah, I was
There
beating
we
that out.
go.
'Cause
There
I didn't
we
want to
go.
be like, let's talk about my character.
So
I
let's talk about your
remembered.
character.
They're all my characters, so
Fair
That's
enough.
true.
Fair
That's
enough.
Very true.
Yeah, no, that is a very good point. Yeah, we finally understand Orville's everything.
Yeah.
Well, not everything. That is important. There's so many layers to Orville. We have barely scratched the surface.
We have found
Yeah,
sub
boy.
layer 1.
Acting that scene was so weird because
Mm,
he's saying the most emotionally charged thing a person can think of,
mm.
and I have to do it as Orville. So it's like, oh, this guy, he's numb to the pain.
Mm.
Like,
Or he
oh,
just
poor
asked to be.
damaged hot boy. We love
Yeah.
him.
Poor damaged hot boy.
I
I
mean,
like the hot boy distinction because if you just leave it a damaged boy, we all know where that thought process goes to.
do we?
Do we? I said that and
I don't know.
thinking back, it's not that clear.
A lot of people are damaged for a lot of things, Twan.
That's very
Yeah.
true. My immediate thought was
Tacking
Joker.
hot onto it makes it more
Yeah.
specific.
It honestly, yeah, because it makes you think of
Jared
like those
Leto.
pictures of like those sad, sulky models with pale skin and tussly black
Yeah.
hair.
So
It's
yeah,
just like,
so
oh.
Orville.
I'm so
was
sad.
Do you think Orville like hides in a closet and listens to Linkin Park numb on repeat?
I
don't
have a
think he needs the
playlist
closet,
for.
but
I
probably.
have an
I-
Orville playlist, Spotify playlist, actually.
yeah.
I
I'm
can,
very
if you would
happy.
like, I can read you some of the songs on it.
Oh, please.
Let us do.
Elena
I
needs
have,
to know what
I
to
have
bring on her
playlists
first
for-
date with him.
Yes.
I have playlists for every character.
I'm gonna make a
in this
mixtape for him,
podcast.
you know,
Oh,
or
I-
burn a CD, whatever
Hmm.
people do now.
He has a
Should
lot
have that
of
for episode
his
7.
Make
his
a
songs.
Spotify
Are,
playlist, Elena.
Oh,
That's
his
what they do.
his songs are almost all like I don't know the best way to describe them. Let me just list some. Well, first of all, The Sound of Silence is the first song on the playlist,
God.
which I think is fair. But it's it's the Smiths, Radiohead, Joy Division.
what you're saying is that we are soulmates because I love the Smiths No.
They're pretty good. Yeah,
It
it's
sounds-
it's
the
literally
song
Sounds like what's being put forth. Yeah, the
It's
logic
is
is
the
sound.
literally-
song "Creep" on this playlist.
yes, it is.
It's the
Oh,
song
yeah,
Karma
okay.
Police.
Yeah.
It's literally mostly the Smiths and Radiohead. It is. I can actually tell you. It is "The Sound of Silence" by Simon and Garfunkel. "Isolation" by Joy Division. Great song. I love that song. The songs by the Smiths are "There's a Light That Never Goes Out," "Big Mouth Strikes Again," and "Panic." I freaking love all those songs. Another Joy Division. There's "Shadow Play," "Creep and Stop Whispering" by Radiohead. Another Joy Division, "Atmosphere." And then the only two songs that are even slightly upbeat on this playlist are this song called "Misery" by Madness. I don't know if you guys know that song. I think it's catchy, but it's a pretty good song. And not the song "Misery," not the one that's like which one is that Maroon 5? I don't know.
I am in misery.
Copyright.
Yeah, okay. I'm remembering this now.
Yes, but not that song. And then my personal favorite, "Don't Stand So Close to Me" by the Police.
Yes. Yes.
That is the Orville playlist.
I
Me and my
feel like
siblings
you-
bonded over that
Now
song.
feel like
I'm
you
just
need to throw
imagining.
in-
Real young.
I'm having to fight the urge to just dress in Orville cosplay and do a cover of "The Sound of Silence" and or "Creep," because that would be incredible.
Oh my God.
I
Yeah,
feel
no,
like you need
the
to throw
only
in "Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now" by the Smiths would fit him so well because there's like little Ginny hints in there. Just saying.
I will add that on.
Oh.
The only playlist that I think is more emo than Orville's is for a certain other character who shall remain nameless, Emily. I'll
It's
have to
really just
send
all
you
the
that.
townspeople. There's just a level of like depression and
there's just
sadness
a level
throughout
of it.
Hainsbury.
That's about right. That's a New
I'm
England
not
town for you.
happy.
That is New England. Can confirm. There's a level of depression. It's like a layer of dust,
I mean,
but it's depression.
I did sit in traffic for a really long time in Boston and feel that way.
It's potent.
Much like old England, people are just kind of sad.
Okay. So yeah, Orville, yeah, I
What do you
enjoyed
mean, old England? What do you
England.
mean here?
I
Old
really
England.
Yes, I understand that,
Oh boy.
but how
Back to
dare you?
Orville. I really, from a writing standpoint, I really enjoyed writing Orville and his backstory that we have not even scratched upon yet. And honestly, I don't even see us getting through his entire backstory and by the second season either. This one's a slow burn.
He's
But
not
what we
really
did
one to
fair.
volunteer information. This is
Exactly.
definitely a
Especially
special
here.
case.
Yeah, because I mean, like,
for those of you who didn't see what just happened, there was a very subtle, shall we say, wink.
Yeah.
very subtle wink.
There's
Subtle.
just something about Ginny.
Well, also there's the fact that you can't really push sensitive matters on the person who's like, if I get sensitive, I explode.
Remember when you were 12?
This is
You're like,
not a
"Don't look at
joke."
me here, I'll kill myself.
I also like to think that at this point, it's hard because I feel like the way he says it, the best way to put this is I feel like, obviously he's not going to share this information with a lot of people, period. Especially like, I would say that a good portion of the world doesn't even know that Orville has any ability outside the norm whatsoever. Like, that being said, I feel like the people he has talked to, it's been a very rehearsed thing that he just kind of says, like the bare minimum. But I feel like with Ginny, it's definitely like this is the deepest he's gonna get.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and it's still not that deep, but yeah. And I don't know what I had this idea the whole time, I think, of having, I feel like it's the case with a lot of people with telekinetic abilities just in media that they're very unstable. So I just was like, I'm just going to keep that trend going.
It's a huge burden to have, especially if it's like not really controlled, as Orville talks about. Like I rewatched recently X-Men Days of Future Past, one of my favorite X-Men movies.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the
Haven't
same
seen
kind of
it
thing.
yet.
Yeah, so to briefly explain, Wolverine goes back in time to help stop the creation of the Sentinels. And doing that, he requires to team up with the young Professor X. But Charles Xavier at that time, this was during the Vietnam War, there was this whole thing where the school was open, and then the war in Vietnam got worse. All of the teachers and older students, a lot of them got drafted, and he had to listen to the thoughts of people around him from the 60s and the 70s during one of the worst wars in American history, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And he basically, Wolverine finds him, and he's addicted to this sort of serum that Hank McCoy made for him that it allows him to walk again, but in doing so, it also suppresses his mutant ability. So he's essentially addicted to drugs to keep his powers from cropping up, just because he breaks under like hearing everyone else's pain and issues. And it's like, oh wow, this is not the Charles Xavier calm-headed bald man that we all know. This is a man in the throes of having to deal with this and not feeling equipped to it. And it's like, yeah, that's Orville. That's Orville right there.
Yeah. Yep. Troubled numb boy.
Yeah.
I also think of like
yeah.
the Wanda in
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
after like when the bomb goes through the building in Avengers, where just that moment afterwards. I would bet that Orville has had moments like that of like, that is not what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, I would say that's a definite yes. It's funny because like on the one hand you find out why Orville is so suppressed, but then on the other hand in this episode you get a nice little Elliot gets a little he gets a little I don't want to say let loose exactly, but what did you
can't I was lip syncing and whisper singing Footloose because I didn't want us to get in copyright trouble. But that's what I was imagining.
Yeah, but he kind of on the opposite ends of things, he kind of takes up Algie's advice a bit from the previous episode. I honestly don't know how intentional it was, but yeah, because Algie being himself to be like, oh yes, I can take advantage of what I have learned in the exercise of the being locked in a room. You know, I enjoyed coming up with stupid things that Algie would yell at him to try to upset him too, before he eventually landed on obviously the one thing that would really set him off at this point, which is his cute little crush. So yeah,
push the Liza button.
Yeah,
you shouldn't
have done that.
No, never push the Liza button. That's an easy I have a feeling that that's going to be an easy way to get him going in the future. If they ever get desperate. But I think this is the first time I really had fun doing Cylines too, because I think this is the first time he comes back, I think, since the pilot arc. It is. This is the first time where you actually get to see he's kind of funny, in my opinion.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, he is definitely still insane and a very loose cannon, but
I mean,
amusing.
Not a bad day. I'm playing
hella violent and actions are questionable. But yeah.
But
yeah, I think it's really fun to do. It's really fun to do, and I think I don't remember if I talked about. I must have described how I'd done the voice at this point. I'm sure I have on an earlier episode and I just can't remember. But yeah, going into the voice and then saying some of these outrageous things is really fun. And also the maniacal laughter is also quite fun.
I do that.
Yeah. I always am like, my family is going to think I am insane. And it's fine. I think that all these characters are just so different that it's really easy for them to all like contrast each other within an episode, you know. Yeah. And I think same goes for you know, even Miriam and Carlton, they are quite a bit on the same page, but you know, their dynamic is always, you know, there's always a little something there. Like again, Miriam actually manages to hold off with the gun usage because of what Carlton was talking about, which was nice on her part.
Thoughtful.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah, definitely. I think speaking of Miriam, I think the last thing I think to really discuss in this episode, I feel like, unless anyone else has any thoughts, is why I think we all want to know, but we can't answer. Miriam's reaction to what happens to this giant worm.
Yes.
I feel like that's just a natural
That it's
reaction.
done.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's like, it's done. Thank goodness. Let's move on.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There are cops to appease.
Well, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, no, because when we did this, I'm pretty sure I told you the reason why she was like that so that you knew like the context for why she was acting the way she was acting.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
and that
okay.
helps a lot. I wish I could say more, but
I know. But yeah, no, it's an interesting mystery that, you know, y'all just have to keep listening for.
A mystery, you say?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the right theme at all.
Oh, we got a new mode of transportation that is currently
unnamed.
That is
you are
true.
so right.
currently
We
writing a
completely
name.
forgot. Oh my god, no, there's so many more things we're talking about. We're not even close to being done with this. I forgot.
yeah.
We've also got the continuation of the Liza and Jack adventures too.
Oh yeah.
Completely forgot about that.
Them.
That's the
I
so
love
much
them, he
happens in this
says.
episode.
I love Jack and Liza just trying to be responsible throughout this whole thing.
And trying to be nice to poor little Rachel. All she wants to do is help.
Rachel.
They are the adults table. We're at the adults table, and the
Rachel's
rest
so
of us
cute.
are at our.
Jamie isn't here, but Jamie, if you're listening to this, you do a really good job, and Rachel's really cute, and we all say "aw" audibly every time she shows up.
That is
Also,
true.
Rachel is
Absolutely. She is adorable. And we've all talked about how much we love how Jack and Liza like trying to talk to her in that first encounter. How it's like, it's very strange, but also really cute. Yeah, I think that whole dynamic, you guys really nailed that scene, like between the three of you. It was great. And I think, as we all know, I think it's not that there is a Liza and Jack ship, but
there is.
if
there
you would
is in my
like
heart.
to, I can understand your reasoning.
If you wanted to make fan art, I could understand your reasoning as well.
With Elliot lurking and fuming angrily in a corner.
If you wanted to like pay me to make fan art.
Yes,
Elliot,
Twan, quick, plug the
Elliot,
commission
made
again.
the transformation out of anger.
Covi.com/Twan1 Productions.
Yeah,
I was not ready for the little like ratchet sound effect for Jack's arm.
Yeah,
That's what I was expecting,
Yeah,
but
it's
it
like-
was not that.
I
To
know.
have him actually wenching
It's
his
the
arm.
sound of
Very like One Piece.
It's the sound of a fishing rod. That's where I got it from. It was a public domain sound of a fishing rod, like reeling in, and I just did it at two different speeds, and it works.
It works, yeah.
That's great.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
You got to be able to convey things without visuals. That's what we do here.
Oh, I didn't plug my YouTube channel earlier. That's fine. I'll do
Oh.
it next
That's
time.
fine.
Yes, yeah. Oh my gosh, you're right. Yes, we should definitely.
I'll do that next time.
Mm.
I'm working on another video. It's fine.
Okay. No, I feel
Yeah,
like we were
that he's
talking
working
about,
on another video, and you can see that other video.
I'll tell them next
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
But yes,
have to wait
we
next
talked
time
about
for-
this last thing we'll end on is this fun little airship vehicle that we have not fully named yet, although I think David accidentally name dropped it several episodes ago.
The audience has
Yeah,
as much memory as we do, which means they've forgotten it.
Carlton.
My memory is insane. So, but
Never
like
mind.
I have a very selective memory, but I will remember selective details vividly, and I remember that. But still, yeah,
a lot of sci-fi contrivances, and I love it. And
yes, all the sci-fi contrivances and the freaking substance analyzer and Jack and Frank just awkwardly standing
Oh my
there.
gosh.
And there's
The
just like
water
the
cooler
sign.
talk is just
Rampage
Oh yeah, we
Partners.
should get a water cooler in the little friend exchange.
We're never gonna
loved
get
all
that
of-
water cooler, by the way. Just asking for a
Anytime
friend in the friend zone.
This arc was one of my favorites because I got to interact with Jack so much, and I love
Yeah.
that so much.
I think, yeah, I like the idea of Jack getting mixed up with a bunch of different people, like with Frank and with Liza,
Yeah.
besides just Algie, because I don't know, Jack's just really easy to bounce weirdness off of. He's actually
Yeah.
easier than Carlton to bounce weirdness off of.
It's like
Yeah.
when you're planning an outfit, Jack is like the neutral, you know?
Yes.
He's the neutral
Yeah.
color. He just goes with everything, and it works really well.
Yeah, it does. And Riff does a very good job at, like, you know, being like not necessarily level-headed, but definitely like kind of like fly on the wall observer of events and a little
Yeah.
snarky.
Like a gentle
He's the straight man.
snark. Yeah,
Yeah.
straight man, gentle snark, incredibly hot.
Mhm.
You
But
know,
not enough.
Everyone's hot on the show. Everyone.
just riff things.
All right.
we
I
need to
think
discuss
that's a good
later.
time to end here and I think get into an extra activity that I thought might be fun.
Ooh.
Because we've obviously finished our third story arc. Is it
Yes.
third? Yeah.
Yeah, this would be
It's our third one.
I had to think back to it, too.
And we faced off with a few different monsters at this point. So I thought it would be fun.
Ooh.
We are not sponsored. What do you call it? We are not sponsored by them, but I went online and got a Buzzfeed quiz.
Oh my god.
And
thought you were going one way,
I
and
put
now
the
I don't
link
know
in
where
our
we're going
chat.
anymore.
I put the link in our chat of a Buzzfeed quiz. Which monster are you?
Oh my god.
What? Oh my gosh,
Uh,
what is this fire? If you dare!
If you dare.
So I thought it would be fun if we all like took this collectively.
Okay.
Good.
If you guys are up
Sorry,
for
I
it,
just see
this is how
the
we'll wrap
list.
up things.
Now, is this
Oh,
as
God.
character or is this
as us?
as us?
Oh, I'm feeling
I-
that as myself.
I believe we should
Okay.
do it as ourselves. I think we should save doing it in character for a later date and for some different quizzes.
Why for favorite sport are there only 4 options and none of which are my favorite sport?
It's
Why
a
does it
BuzzFeed
ask-
quiz. Don't question.
Why does it ask who do you like to spend time with? And the answers are family, friends, romantic partner, or myself, and you have to pick one.
Well, why don't we
I
do?
just like spending time.
I think. Are we gonna do this all one question at a
Letting
time
my
together,
existence
or
ebb
are
away
we
in the
all
f-
just? Are we all just jumping, or are we just doing
I
this
think
together?
we're into it.
Okay. Are we all ready?
Yeah.
Oh, I am not
I got a
surprised
fun
by
one.
mine in the least. Okay.
I got a fun one, which
I like mine.
Okay.
Never mind.
Are we gonna go one at a time? I guess I'll start.
Sure.
Why not? Yeah. So I got
Damn,
witch,
it's not-
guys. I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm alone, but it just says you are the witch.
it just says that. That's it.
No, there's more stuff. There's like greatest attribute is your intelligence, whatever skills or talents you lack, you make up for them in intellect. You are a genius. Oh, well, okay. Well, thank you. And then it goes on and on from there. It says, which is the most unique monster because you're entirely human. I'm like, that's fair. I
With
guess.
this one, I could actually be a little bit
Yeah.
true of myself, actually. Huh.
There's a
Might
bunch
actually taken
of-
this test correctly.
Yeah. It's pretty, I think there's a lot more to it here, but people can just go and take this quiz themselves, and if they get it, they can see, because I'm not gonna
Yeah.
read this whole thing. Sure. How about, okay, Naomi, what about you?
I got Skinwalker.
Hey,
I don't know if people saw
Skinwalkers!
my face. I finished the test like a while ago, and I made like because I was like Skinwalker. Wow. Yeah, it says your greatest attribute is your adaptability.
Ooh.
You can be successful whether you're with a group or completely alone. One of the greatest traits is your range of abilities.
Hey.
You have a lot of talents and are good at a lot of things.
That is true.
You have the most in common with the werewolf and the witch. So there we go. Yeah. And it says more stuff, but I was like,
Does
yeah,
it also
I saw,
most in
Skinwalker,
common,
and I was like, oh no, that sounds ominous. But then I read the description and I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, mine says most in common with the demon and the Skinwalker. Oh, the demon. Well, okay then. That makes sense.
Oh, wow.
Is that for the people who wake up thinking evil?
Dio, what did you get?
I got the zombie.
That's
Oh,
Classic.
I see your disappointment.
I think it's
Right?
classic.
It's so, but like,
Is
I
it
guess
basic for you?
You literally
It's so
seem like
basic.
you would be a zombie now. You're
Yeah.
like the warm bodies type of zombie.
Yeah, you
the
would.
moody one, the moody type that falls in love with the first girl that shows me affection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stop attacking me, though.
Too real. But
No, it's just the
You're
Orville question
fighting
mark.
with an RPG, sir.
the zombie thing kind of works, I guess, because like if I were to ever like draw myself as like a monster or Halloween type thing, it would definitely be as Frankenstein's monster, which has a similar aesthetic these days. So sure, I'll read the first few sentences of mine. You are the zombie. Your greatest attribute is your determination. Nothing can stop you when you set your mind towards something. You are immovable in your convictions. You're a child of the night. Your symbol is earth, and your season is summer.
Who do you have the most in common with?
Where is that? Oh, you have the most in common with werewolves and the Wendigo.
Oh, that's on the list.
Emily's not enjoying.
I'll go where the Wendigo goes.
So I'm Earth, which is fair because I always feel torn when people are like, if you were to Avatar The Last Airbender, what element would you be? And I'm always torn between airbending and earthbending because I feel like those two opposing elements are the most like me, which is odd.
Oh, I didn't even get that. I didn't even get an element. I just got a symbol that's sage, but I mean, sage is great. Smells like Thanksgiving. So, and the season is fall. Yes, I love fall.
I hate summer.
Yeah.
So hot.
It is so hot. And there's fireworks that scare my dog. Yeah. Emily, so you made a face. What did you get?
I also got Skinwalker.
Hey.
But right? Now I'm okay with it. But I grew up in New Mexico, and Skinwalkers are a Navajo, like Native American folklore.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So, for all of you people, I am a massive fraidy cat. Like, I do not like scary things, and I was camping when I first heard the story of Skinwalkers from someone like who was full Navajo. So they make me uncomfortable, to say the least.
Well, maybe not anymore.
I know the lore.
I forgot about that.
Freaky.
My mom got really hooked on Secret of Skinwalker Ranch for like a week on whatever channel that is.
No. Like Skinwalkers are up there with like La Llorona, those sorts of things in my book. Then like,
that's fair. La Llorona.
I don't play with that. Scary. No, thank you.
Pretty sure I heard La Llorona last time I was in Mexico. So.
What? No.
Yeah, it scared the fuck out of me.
I can't be saying that.
I fought something that was basically La Llorona in a recent D&D session.
But you're just gonna leave it as like, I fought this thing.
Just
did
like, it. I was like, yeah, I encountered it. Turns out it's real. I beat it.
In my house, if you so much mention it, my dad will start singing the song.
Then I beat up the ghost lady.
Oh my gosh. Wait, Tuan, you keep having the reaction. Did you also get Skinwalker?
Yeah, I did. This
Oh
one
boy.
hit really,
Whole mess of
this
skinwalkers.
really hit home for me because like I've been finding that conversationally I am effectively a skinwalker because like my social identity, I guess per se, adapts to like the last person who spoke effectively.
That's fair.
Interesting. Okay.
Like,
Anything else to add?
and now you know my secret, and now it will never not be you'll never not be noticeable.
Okay, I guess that just leaves Elena.
I got the vampire, which I thought I would get.
That's fair.
You said blood, didn't you?
I did, because I figured it would be the easiest to. You can have blood from anything, if you live
That's true.
wherever.
Yeah. Everything about you does very much point to vampire.
Maybe I am,
That's
and
also
I'm
true.
pretending not to be. Who knows?
Maybe some other things might turn out pretty
Read some
good
of
for
the
you.
vampire info.
It says your greatest attribute is your ability to direct. Your talent for guiding and conducting gives you the leadership skills to maneuver anyone into whatever position is most productive. There you have it.
Interesting phrasing.
Ooh.
Most productive.
Yes. Gotta make the best use of our time here.
Are we even gonna? I don't think we're even gonna try anymore. We're all just in that place. We'll just all go to the jail now.
No, the jail's been destroyed and taken over by Dunkin' Donuts. I told you. There's nothing I can do anymore.
That's why you blamed Dunkin' Donuts earlier.
Yes.
I was confused. I thought they did something like weirdly sexual in a commercial of theirs or something.
No, I wouldn't put it past them, but no.
That is fair.
Something about
I mean,
microphones.
we all know that the little running person in the ad is a very sexual being.
Yes, the amount of sexual energy that pours off of that person.
That stick human.
Yeah, that individual's just running from like bone zone to bone zone.
Yeah. America runs on Dunkin'.
Yeah.
America run no dun dun.
Still my favorite. That's still my favorite.
I like Spubby E free.
Free.
That one got me. I haven't heard that in a while.
Oh,
Yeah, we're dissolving into madness. We should probably call this an
I-
episode.
we should call this
so
so
late.
before we divulge some secrets.
I have to buy Comic-Con tickets in the morning, so
Oh, that's a good point.
yeah. Okay. Well, good night, everybody.
And
As
thanks
always,
for listening and watching.
yeah.
We love you. Love each other.
And as always, we're all skinwalkers.
Never forget.
Never forget.